Welcome to Rebel Watch, an all-Star Wars podcast.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
I will finish what you started.
What is he talking about? You know?
My question is, how? How do they finish it? You know what I mean?
That's the ultimate question, right?
Can you
How
finish
does
it?
one finish? We're talking about episode 9?
Episode 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Back in the conversation then.
Finishing.
How does one finish this movie?
Well, I mean, and I guess my question is it something that needs to be finished? Is this the end of the Skywalker saga?
The Skywalker saga.
Is that something that ends here with 9? And if it does, how do you finish it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is, one of the big questions that we've posed to listeners.
We have. Well, I mean, I think, because everyone's thinking about it, we've got possibly a trailer coming up soon. So before we got any of that information, we wanted to ask, some folks here on Rebel Watch what they thought what needed to happen in episode 9 to finish the movie, or to I guess just have a nice resolution. Now, some might say that one of their must-haves would be that there should not be a resolution.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was getting at. Is that, I guess it's just
So
one
of
the bigger issues.
I say finish.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's really just like, are we finishing or are we not? Because that then will kind of dictate what your 3 must-haves, for episode 9 are going to be.
Which is ultimately this discussion.
It is, yeah, exactly. So what do we have to have? We posed that question in our Facebook group. So by the way, if you have not checked out the Rebel Watch Star Wars podcast group on Facebook, you need to.
Coming in hot.
It's
Coming
fantastic.
in hot.
I'm encouraging folks who are part of that group to post some of their some of their vintage, some of their retro, photos and things of Star Wars nature in there, and lead us in discussions and things. It's been fun so far.
It has.
We just started it, and it was kind of a secret little upstart. We didn't even
send out a few invitations, and then now people are
adding each other.
People are adding. They're talking about their Star Wars stories. They're sharing their original VHS, collections.
Yep.
I'm waiting for someone to drop some Black Series in there, maybe that they're willing to sell me at a discounted price.
That's come on.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe a little swappers meet on the group chat. But yeah, as we posed that in the group, and we had a few responses, and we also hit up a couple good buddies.
We did. Yeah, we had a couple of phone calls. So we decided to kind of have some of our other podcasting buddies call in, do a little collaboration with them. So we had them call in and just sort of share. The question that we posed to them is, what are your 3 must-haves for episode 9? And we're posing that to you, the listener, as well, too, to hit us up in the comments and let us know, what are the 3 things that you have to have? One of the things that I wanted, and I'm just going to say this before we jump into those phone calls, we, in The Last Jedi, and my good buddy Matt will tell you that, he read the spoilers beforehand. Remember that?
Of course he did.
Of course he did. He was out in Portland and he couldn't see the movie. So I told him beforehand, I said, I needed one thing, which was an epic Luke Skywalker moment.
Yeah.
I needed him to be a true, powerful master.
Did you get it?
I did.
Okay.
And if I wouldn't have had that shocking moment where you flash over to Ahch-To, and he's there meditating, levitating in such a powerful way, I would have been disappointed.
Absolutely.
That was a must-have for me. I was like, I need to have that.
Which is crazy too, because you almost called the Luke Skywalker in there. Then I thought it was going to be 9.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be 9 too. So, but I was hoping for like an epic, not like a death. I was hoping for just this epic, powerful moment. Yeah. And I remember he hit me up and he said, because I told him, don't tell me the spoilers. He was literally just like, you're going to be, pleased. All he would say was like, your must-have, you're going to get it.
Wow.
And I was sort of like, oh, I better after that, so. Dang. And I did. So I thought it would be interesting just to kind of see, and we'll probably do this as we get maybe closer to episode 9, but what is it that we have to have? Yeah. So do we want to start with the phone calls first?
Yeah, let's start with Lane. Good, like you said, good buddy.
Yeah.
More of a Tolkien guy. or Tolkien, or how do you? Yeah, is it
Tolkien, yeah.
Tolkien.
I say Tolkien, which is not correct. I say it at the beginning of every episode, and it's funny because it's more of a like, that guy's really not saying it the right way, but it's
that's how someone from Boston would say it.
Well, and I was also
Tolkien.
Yeah,
I think that was pretty good.
That's
right?
good. That was good. So he's more of a Lord of the Rings type of guy, and but he loves Star Wars.
Loves Star Wars.
Absolutely loves it. We've had him on
Sith
here before.
Lord.
He is. He truly is.
He is.
But he's a good friend of ours, and I always enjoy listening to him talk. We actually had a nice conversation from. He called us from bed, which was fantastic.
Yeah, and that's where he does his best meditation. I hear.
Right. Exactly.
Amongst other things.
Yeah.
But and we had him and our good buddy Fogle. There it is. It's a tongue twister.
The D's and the F's.
The D's and the F's. I mean, who would have thought?
But
we had him on as well and posed the same question to him, and some similar desires, but also some drastically different ones for episode 9.
Absolutely.
I will just tease you with Jar Jar.
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure. Very different.
Very different.
So, all right. But yeah, let's take a quick listen to those, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about, when we get back, we'll talk something about the Facebook group here.
Absolutely.
But do you have any, like if you had to pick 3 must-haves? We had like a discussion thread with some people who listed off some of their 3, what are the things you have to see in episode 9 to be satisfied?
Cool.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I have 2 for sure, and then I'll try to think of the third one while I'm telling you.
That's fine, yeah.
The 3. Number 1, I want resolution on who Rey is.
Amen.
Wow.
I don't care if she's a nobody, quote unquote, or if she doesn't if she's not a Skywalker, if she's not a Solo. I don't care. Yeah. I just want to hear it from someone's mouth other than Kylo Ren, because I don't trust him. I love him, but I don't trust him.
No.
I don't trust him.
Know who she is.
Yeah.
And so that's my number 1. My number 2 is I need wow.
I think
blank out here.
I think he fell asleep.
I think he's in deep meditation.
I think he fell asleep.
I think he fell asleep. Yeah, he's
Sorry,
tired.
Guys, the alarm just went off.
That's funny.
Time to get up. I need Rey and Finn to get back together.
Amen.
I need them to get together. I need them to come together hard and fast.
Yep.
And I need them to make some Force babies.
Amen.
I don't care.
That's what I'm talking about.
Together.
Emphasize hard.
Yeah. Give us what we want. Use us the middle film. Give us what we want in the last film.
Amen.
And create a new lineage. From a couple of nobodies, a couple of a boy who doesn't remember where he came from, and a girl who doesn't remember who she is.
Yeah.
Let's start a new new story with them. And
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Number 3. This is ridiculous. This isn't a must-have. This is I wish.
Mm-hmm.
I want like a breakdown moment of catharsis with Kylo Ren. I want him to have some kind of related to Leia. I think you guys have talked about this, and that part of that seeds in my head. I want him to just break down, and redeem himself. Just classic, like Lloyd Christmas redemption, if you know what I'm talking about. Totally redeem himself and come back to the light, man. I want him to come back to the light, and I like the whole idea you guys have always talked about of this outside threat that not the Empire, not the rebels, and there having to be some kind of unification to defeat that.
Oh yeah.
And I have one more. I need a return of Jar Jar. I know he's still out there.
Wow.
I know he's still
wow. Dude,
I want his floppy ears back.
Apparently, last time we left him off, he was in Aftermath, and he was alive. He was like a clown on Naboo. So, he's officially in canon post episode 6. So
it's a cover.
Fly him out. Get him out. He's not working. Let's get him on the set. Come on.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Pay the man.
That would be amazing.
Let me actually, my beautiful wife is right here. Should I ask her?
Oh man,
absolutely.
Her must-have.
Oh my, please. Tell Goldberry we need these. Yeah.
In episode 9, Goldberry.
What does she think?
She's gonna say sleep.
She's gonna say deep meditation.
She just said
what
she turned. She thought for about oh man, that whole time you guys were giggling there.
Yeah.
And then she turns to me and goes, good old-fashioned family fun.
Amen. I mean, that's what it's all about.
That's what you've got to have.
Amen.
Good old-fashioned. She said you decide what that means.
Wow.
So take a whole episode and figure that out.
Mike will.
Probably
Mike
will.
will figure
Interpreting
that
the
out.
words of Goldberry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good old fashioned fun. Wow.
That might be the title of episode 9.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Man.
That's awesome.
That's funny, man. That's
Dude,
good.
hey, Lane,
All right.
the trailer might be coming out like as soon as
Yeah.
tomorrow, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, it's a funny story.
Yeah.
When he's 1 year old today,
Mhm.
when she came like 2.5 weeks early, we were just talking about this the other day, yes.
Yeah.
And the last thing we really did before, it was a Friday. She was born on Tuesday,
Mhm.
and the Friday before it, we went to watch The Last Jedi. So that was the first like movie she ever saw, kind of, went to. So we have it's a really good memory because we loved the movie. We
Dude.
remembered your reaction videos.
Oh yeah.
And watched those because we couldn't go to the premiere, and then went and we were like, oh my gosh, dude,
Yeah.
they're right. It's not. It didn't go the way we thought it was going to, and we loved it.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have a request. When Wendy's a little bit older, can we please dress her up as like a Rey, like just a young, powerful Rey?
Yeah.
Or is she? Who would
I'm
she
shocked.
be?
I'm shocked, man. I thought you would have been pulling for the Ewok.
Dude,
Well, that would be cool
That's
too.
Ewok
okay.
size.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
A Chief Chirpa or maybe.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she
probably
would. No,
better.
she could definitely be a Rey or a Jen or so,
Yeah,
or
That'd be
a
sweet.
Ooh,
little
Jen.
Chewbacca. She loves Chewbacca.
yeah,
So
That'd be
be
good.
sick. That's awesome.
yeah, man. Yeah.
All right,
All right,
well,
fellas.
hey, brother, thanks, man.
So we'll call you
Is
again
that
tomorrow
good?
at
Is
9.
that good enough quality? Can you use that?
Oh, that's great quality.
That's amazing.
All right.
And
Yeah.
we'll
Good.
call you again tomorrow night if that's okay.
Yeah, 9:00
All
tomorrow.
right. Make it a little later, please. A little
Please.
later.
Yes. That would actually work out great.
Oh god, that's funny.
Sick of waiting around.
I'm actually rushing Mike right now to get the podcast. He's like, dude, what?
I mean, we get started at 10 usually.
Mike's like, I just got off work, man, bro. Like, what's going on?
That's hilarious.
Oh shit.
All right, boys. Have fun. All
Hey,
right.
man. All right, buddy.
All right,
We'll
see
see
ya,
you, man.
brother.
Later.
I love you guys. All
Yep.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye. So, we got Fogle, our good friend Fogle here,
Folks.
and he's a master of
Yeah.
sorts.
Maybe a master of the dark arts. We're not sure.
Yeah, could be a
It's
master.
possible.
He is. He definitely still is bitter about trivia trials, friends. So
Rematch is coming.
it's been it's long overdue.
Amen.
But
Amen.
he is our partner in crime that we are going to Celebration with Fogues.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to kind of, getting into all the episode
right.
9 stuff, man. So
That's right.
we thought we'd ask him real quick, just your 3 must-haves. If you could give us like a number 1, 2, and 3, just things you have to have out of episode 9, things you want to see that are going to make the movie for you,
Oh wow, yeah. Well, I mean, I could probably have a big long list of must-haves.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I wish in a way that this movie could be a 2-parter.
Amen.
Come on.
Amen. We've been saying it for months.
Yep.
There's just a lot of answers that I feel need to be there are a lot of questions that need to be addressed with answers. If I can talk right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like the biggest thing, it's really simple, but I just want to see time pass.
Amen.
We were hit so hard in the mouth between Force Awakens and Last Jedi. It's like instantly just pow, you're straight in it.
Right.
And I don't know, it just didn't really give everybody enough time to just develop. Because in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, there was a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time difference. So, and I said, unfortunately, after the passing of Carrie Fisher, I was like, well, why don't you just have a I don't know, 5-10 years pass, and then you could. I don't want to be morbid about it, but open on a funeral, have something really beautiful for that.
Yep.
But again, just some time in between, I think would do wonders for development. And then
That's
sticking
smart.
with development,
Yeah. And
I think you guys have talked about this a little bit too. I I wanted to see like a run and gun Rey and Finn against the world
Amen.
kind of movie.
Yeah.
And we were sort of getting that in Force Awakens. In Last Jedi, we all kind of broke off, and more characters and more characters, which I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm.
I like Poe and Rose was fine, but
Sure.
I kind of like that, Rey and Finn against the world, and I just want to see more character development, especially from Finn, because I feel like he got lost in the dust a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, the hero for this movie, I always thought was Rey.
Amen.
So I just want to see, I want to see more of her. I want to see her, completing training, traveling around, I don't know, following the path that Luke had set out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Going and finding this knowledge or whatever, retracing steps, figuring out how to be a Jedi.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's solid, man.
But,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so those are two, and then I'm kind of gonna lump one big sum straight at you there.
Mm-hmm.
I just want answers to questions we don't have answered, like who really is Snoke?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you notice I say is, not was.
Amen.
He's not dead.
He's still
until
around.
the Final
Oh,
credits roll.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But just what was Luke doing in between the years? From Return of the Jedi up until he bites the big one. I just want to see these answers come out, because I think Last Jedi gave us more questions than it did answers.
Yeah.
So and that's half of what I think people were so disillusioned about, was that they felt that they weren't truly getting answers. Is it like a simple thing like Rey's parents?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Are they really no one? Does anybody really believe that? Let's just figure it out. Let's just hash it out, get it out there. But again, this is the sort of stepping stones why I think it would, like a two-part would be really beneficial.
Yeah.
But it's just that's tough.
I got a question for you, man. Do you think, like, Lane? We just had Lane on. He was saying the same thing. Is like, do I believe that Rey's parents are no one when I hear it from Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
I don't know if I do. But do you think if they don't do a two-parter for Episode 9, do you think it's going to be like this is going to be like the equivalent of an Episode 3, and then they're going to continue with Rey and Kylo's or Rey and Ben's arc, like 3 more movies or something, or is this it for these characters? Is this the last movie for them?
Yeah, well, that's tough.
Yeah.
For me, I think you could end it.
Yeah.
Not that again, I like the characters, I like the way things, the setup for all this, but another 3 movies,
right?
I don't know. I think you could end it effectively and people go away happy again. But you got to give a little bit to the fans.
Right.
Yeah.
It does seem like there's a lot of threads out there that it's like, how are they going to tie it all together in 9? You know what I mean? How do they answer the questions, leave us satisfied, but then keep us, going for more? Because I don't know, man. It's again, if you're going with the 9-episode arc, it's supposed to be Anakin Skywalker turns to Darth Vader, and then George Lucas's mind, you've got 7, 8, and 9 are his grandchildren. So his grandchild is Ben Solo, and it's like, so I think this will probably wrap up in 9, and it's over. But I don't know.
Well, what one of the I don't want to say errors, but one of the things that I question quite a bit in The Last Jedi, the more that I watched it, and I bought the movie and watched a few more times and obsessed over it and listened to you guys, talk to you guys and whatever. They kind of took, in my opinion, they sort of took away that Ben redemption arc a little bit when they got rid of an overarching villain. Now, I don't want it to seem a little like too much like the original trilogy, but think about it. Anakin's redemption finally was, destroying the Emperor. And then he was able to, die in peace and come back as a, Force ghost and whatnot.
Right.
But for Ben, I kind of feel like it's either you've got to be the ultimate bad guy or what? Who do you fight? Because you can say real easy, oh, I turned back to the light side, and then, and then what happens to the First Order? What happens to the evil in the galaxy? You know, so.
Yeah,
that's why there's
it's tough.
We draw so many comparisons from the original trilogy, trying to figure out what this is going to be, and they're going almost in the complete opposite direction concerning villains.
Yeah,
I mean, we just gained villains as the original trilogy went on, and now we're just losing them like quickly.
Yeah,
and then it's like, if he is going to be redeemed, what next? But if he's not, then like, cool. I mean, but then I feel like that's hard to wrap that up in one movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
It is. Yeah. Wow, man.
It's all JJ's fault. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse that we're so confused, but that's him. That's what he does, man.
Yeah, that's what he does. Can he wrap it up, you know? I'm glad they brought him back.
I don't think he's capable of wrapping anything up.
No.
I think he wants to leave it open-ended.
He's got that mystery box, situation.
Well, if you really want to wrap it up, you have to let go of something.
Yeah.
And it just, in my opinion, letting go would be letting go of Ben and realizing that, you know, pending how you could potentially tie in like Rey into a Skywalker arc, but letting go of the Skywalker arc. Ben's gone, Skywalker's done, new chapter type of deal. I don't know if that would sit very well with a lot of people, because the whole Star Wars, you know, franchise has been, you know, a Skywalker story.
Yep. I know, man.
And
and
I mean, could you just see a world where you just give up on Luke?
Dude,
No.
you're hitting on something. We're going to keep talking about it, because that's the thing, man, is that like the Skywalker name, I don't see a way in which it continues. Or even the line, like even with Ben Solo, like you said, if he does stay on the dark side and he is the true villain, and he doesn't have any offspring, it's over.
Yeah.
The line it ends with him, you know?
And you know what? If those two, if let's say Kylo and Rey duel and this huge battle happens, great. But if they're going to continue this and it just they just are kind of at a point where they were in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Walk away from each other. No one wins.
Right.
I feel like that's not.
I know.
We just saw that.
I know, man.
You know?
So I'm not sure what's going to happen.
I mean, maybe not. I mean, I guess they didn't really duel each other, but I don't know. That's kind of how it felt, though, when they were looking at each other. It's kind of just like, okay, no resolution here.
Right.
But I don't know.
Well, yeah, I know. It's crazy, man. Hey, folks, we're going to have you on for the, should be getting a trailer soon, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I saw some stuff they were talking about. Oh, yeah, it's going to happen today, like literally today.
Right.
And, of course, you know, so I was like, oh, come on.
Right.
Go on. Type real fast. Get it on there.
Yeah.
Nope.
I know. I know. I think we all kind of said like maybe teaser by Super Bowl would be cool. I'm sure we're going to see the trailer like the full trailer at Celebration. That just makes sense.
Oh,
you know?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome, bro. All right, brother. Well, hey, we're gonna get off here and we'll hit you up soon. We'll have you back on for council, okay?
Sounds good, guys. You guys have a good one.
Thanks, brother. So really good hearing from those guys. Interesting. You know, I felt like I knew. I was surprised by some of them, but you know, not overly surprised, because I think, you know, the sentiment that they raised is very similar to what we've seen from some of our listeners in the group, and some of the things we've talked about and felt for a while. It's crazy. You can start feeling these similarities coming through, and I'm wondering, is JJ gonna listen? Or is he gonna be his JJ and he's just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna take you there,
right?
And then you know what? Then I'm gonna take you here, and maybe I'm gonna show you the future, like in Lost, and then we're gonna come back to the past. Well, I just don't know. He does a lot of jump cuts in Lost, so maybe we could see a lot of that since there's a little bit of time to finish a lot. Who knows?
Well, it's what I was driving to there with our good friend David Fogle was the idea of we talked about at the start of this episode is are we finished or not? You know, are we going to finish the saga? Are we going to leave the Skywalkers in a situation where you could have you know, the line continue like it does in the Legacy comics and things like that? So if you do that, then JJ's okay with resolving a couple things, answering some questions, you know, and then putting us in a place where it's like, okay, you could continue with an expanded universe and more Legends books concerning Rey and those guys, and then maybe the Skywalker saga picks up, you know, another 30 years later with a new cast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do that, then it's okay to kind of, if you're going to do those gaps, you can leave some of that stuff open-ended or whatever, but you have to have enough resolution. It just, I mean, are you going to...
Yeah.
Here's my thing, man.
Come on.
Are you finishing a 9-series saga? Is that what you're doing? Or because if you're not doing that, do you see what I'm saying?
My understanding from this, let's call it a reboot of Star Wars, was to reboot Star Wars. And
Okay.
it wasn't just, in my eyes,
It's not
it
that
was
they're
not
finishing.
No.
Okay.
It's to have a respectful resolution for our heroes from the original trilogy.
Okay.
They have to be included. Everyone wants them.
Sure.
But the point is to create these new heroes and go through their journey, and so much of it has been dependent on conversations about Luke Skywalker, conversations about Han, conversations about Leia.
I know. They almost feel like it is. You're in this weird spot where you've got to balance those things. You've got to balance the legacy characters, resolve them because they're so special and precious to us. But then you've also, it's threading a needle here. I mean, because then you've got to, you know, give due to Rey and Finn and move on with the series and really pass the torch. And I almost don't want to see. There's such a good cast that I almost don't want to see them, you know, get lost in these three movies. They're they're the transitional crew, and it's such a good crew. It's such a good cast that you're sort of like, man, is that their only role?
Yeah.
You know, and then you know, are we going to continue with those characters or not? So you know, Fogle was saying he thinks it's done. Yeah. He thinks it's maybe possibly.
He kind of wanted it to be done too,
yeah,
which was interesting.
Well, and so you know, I guess if I had him here to ask him again, to the idea like, do you want the Skywalker saga to end?
Yeah,
you know, because Lane was also kind of saying like, that's sort of the question. We want to understand Rey's parentage. We want to understand who is she? If she's no one, that's fine.
Yeah,
I just need to hear it from somebody else.
Yeah,
because here's the thing: what happened in Episode 5 is, you know, Darth Vader says, "I am your father," and he needs Yoda to confirm it.
Yeah.
You know, we just watched that. You and I were just watching that, and Yoda has to confirm, yes, he is your father. He still was unsure because he is a Sith Lord at that time. Yeah. You know, and so Ben Solo's in the same, you know, Kylo Ren is not a trustworthy, you know, individual right now.
Yeah.
So we need someone else to validate that for us. Yeah. And that's what folks needed in 5.
Yeah.
So going into 6. So maybe we'll get that, and if not, who knows? I mean, you know, that's sort of the thing. It's like, what do we need to have either to resolve it or to, we've passed the torch, now we can carry on with these characters or even their lineage, you know? So,
well, and you know what? I guess I was surprised by this. Neither of them mentioned the original trilogy cast in that resolution. Yeah. Lane didn't and Fogle didn't.
Right. Well,
which was interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think that shows, though, that we're. It's hard to. It's because Han Solo had, you know, Harrison Ford had his resolution. Luke had his big moments. Yeah. You know, so we got that. The one we're missing, and unfortunately, is Leia. Yeah. You know, Carrie Fisher, and that it's just sad. It's such the timing. I've said it before. I truly believe they're building for, you know, a mother-son confrontation. Kind of, we had the father-son confrontation. I really felt like they were, you know, driving for that, and it's just too bad that we don't have it. And hopefully, they've done something nice, you know, in regards to what they filmed in Episode 7 to kind of wrap that up. But yeah, I mean, the other bit is like, as we've said, you have so much to balance. So I understand why those guys are saying like, here's all the questions we have. We know who those characters are. Yeah. We do want to know how. We kind of know Luke is going to resolve as a Force Ghost Master. Yeah. We can kind of see where that's going to go. We know Leia's at an end.
But you know what's great though? Yeah. So this may just be our small little community and the people that we really not see eye to eye with, but like, I don't know. You can definitely tell in the group that like everyone shares these general concepts that are pretty similar. But when I'm on the interwebs and I'm seeing people saying like, I need a bigger Luke Skywalker scene, I need an epic Luke Skywalker scene, I need Leia to do this and that. Yeah. There's some of that in the group, but Fogle and Lane, I didn't even mention them. That tells me that whatever the Last Jedi did for people, these two films have done a good job of introducing these characters and making us actually want resolution for them, or if they're going to continue on, we need some answers so that story can continue on.
That's a good point.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it raised more questions around those characters, and we did get some resolution around Han and Luke, and then I think they were voting for that with Leia. But
it almost maybe is the little bit of time that's passed for The Last Jedi, people have kind of wrapped their mind around what's happened and realized, okay, we got some things we need answered, and we care about these characters enough. Let's talk about that, and whatever they do with Leia, I'm sure is going to be great. But yeah, I don't know. That just kind of fascinated me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not even brought up.
One thing that I thought was really good, a good point that Fogle made, was that he wanted time to pass in between episode 8 and 9. Because that lets the imagination kind of run wild. You know, it leaves room for what they did back in the originals and they've done, you know, in the prequels, is you have a whole, you know, Clone Wars series. You've got multiple comics, Dark Horse comics. You've got, you know, different, you know, pieces of literature in and around those gaps of time. So that would be nice. You can kind of imagine that your characters have matured and done all these different things, and so it makes it more realistic. Like, oh yeah, now they have an army. You know, now they have the Resistance back, or you know, she went and visited all these different, you know, sanctuaries and learned more about the Force and stuff. So
Luke showing up at Jabba's palace in a black cloak, and you know, you're just like, wow,
with a different lightsaber,
calling himself a Jedi. Like, what happened?
Like, you didn't even need to see him build it. So that's something else people have talked about. Well, we're maybe going to see Rey rebuild that. We don't really need to see it.
They cut Luke's scene when he
they
rebuilt
did.
it.
Yeah, I mean. And we still all were kind of like, wow, he constructed. And the Vader says it later. I see you've constructed a new lightsaber.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Indeed, you are powerful. So, anyways, I think it was pretty neat. So it was good to hear from those guys. You want to dive into some of the group discussion?
Yeah. I think Jory Webb opened it up when we posed the question. He kind of went full force on it and provided his thoughts, which coincidentally, him and I think are synced in the Force.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we're on the same page here. I just had, you know, slightly a little variation in what he said, but he said, number one, more Rey. Give me some development. If there's a Reylo, please explain to me why our feelings have changed, because right now I don't see it, and I could not agree more.
Yeah.
So if it's going to happen, I mean, why?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, she's witnessed a lot.
Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, he's rejected her. She's witnessed him do terrible things.
Right.
Why?
Exactly. That would be interesting.
Stick to a storyline. I mean, I can get on board with this. But give me some stability and make the trilogy seem like it fits together. Yeah, and he talks about that kind of. He loves both 7 and 8 differently. They just didn't feel like they were, you know, 8 was a continuation really of 7. So totally understand that.
Yeah.
Like he said, that's a bigger can of worms to discuss. But
right. Yep.
Then he wrapped it up with the original trilogy character closure, which I thought we would hear from Landon Fogle on, but he just wanted a way that respects the characters, closes that chapter, and it really doesn't take away from, you know, Rey and Finn's story, which I think they've done a decent job of so far. Which, like I said, we care so much about these characters now. We're like, Finn needs redeemed because we think he's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. And when you have just your 3 must-haves, it's sort of like, oh, man. I mean, what do I really want to see? What am I most interested in for episode 9?
Yeah.
You know, I think we actually can make better predictions on those trilogy characters than we can Finn, Rey, and those. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have more to go off of, and we kind of know their nature, and what their role has traditionally been. So, yeah.
And we Aaron Segura, Segura, probably botched it. Totally agreed with Jory. So yeah, that was a great open for it.
Yeah.
Then Katrina Bennett comes in, more Finn and Rey, which is right up there with Lane. Yeah. Lane wants some more of that. Maybe a romance. Sure.
It was happening. It was, you know, and then it got kind of derailed a little bit, and you could see maybe like a love triangle situation.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, you know, because even if they are, you know, even if we're misled with the whole Rey and Kylo situation, maybe they're cousins, maybe they're siblings, whatever. Same thing happened with Luke and Leia. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so then you had the Han, you know, like the love triangle situation there.
Yeah.
We could still have that here. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to see him come back, because full tilt, because he really is the whole time seeking her. Yeah. And unexpectedly kind of finds Rose, which is neat.
That's true.
Which is neat. But
that's a lot to get in.
I know.
That's a lot to start, because that love triangle in the original trilogy started off real early.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a little late to the game.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
But I mean, I at least want them together. I want them, doing something together at least. I mean, they barely talked in the last one, but if we're to believe, John Boyega, then it's going to happen.
Right.
Then Katrina said, Luke Force Ghost, definitely. We all think he needs to have that Alec Guinness moment.
Absolutely.
Maybe he's been lying the whole time. Who knows?
I think he has been.
Kind of hope so.
I think he has.
Kind of hope so. And then some closure for Leia, which, like I said, I'm surprised, more people, in our smaller friend group haven't really brought this up. But yeah, more people want that. And I think they could do that in an epic way. We just don't know how. Maybe hologram.
Right.
Maybe a confrontation, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little scolding. I don't know, but we'll definitely see.
Yeah. Yep. We definitely need that closure for her. I mean, that's
yeah.
I think, again, it's tough to pick 3, but it's sort of like, yeah, that's a no brain. I mean, you got to have that, don't you?
Yeah. I mean,
it's just so tricky,
But I think, when the movie came out, though, we were all like, you know what? The way it ended, they can write around it.
Absolutely, they can
show a funeral, or they could do something that mention it in their scroll or something.
What shocks me is that they have the footage.
Yeah.
That's what shocks me, because if they would have done what Fogle and I have kind of talked about, and you've talked about it, just letting some time pass and opening with a funeral ceremony or talking about it in some way, maybe they do that, and then there's still some sort of holocron or something that she can,
Wow, she's been holding on to a holocron the whole time.
Something, yeah, I don't know.
That'd be kind of a cool way to
hologram, whatever, yeah,
or a holocron. I kind of like the idea of a holocron because. I don't know. She was so. I mean, she becomes a Jedi in Legends.
Sure.
And her and Luke kind of have that moment. But what if she's been holding on to some knowledge that Rey needs? Because she said we have everything we need. What if she was very literal in meaning we have a hologram that you can study and
maybe.
I don't know. That would be way out there, but
it'd be kind of. I mean,
cool.
like whether it's whatever, some type of message that she can kind of leave. If it is a holocron, maybe not in relationship to Leia, but it would be kind of cool to see a holocron kind of come back and see her study under Luke in some other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you got to think that if Master Skywalker, if there were any, if there were ever a Jedi who you would want to kind of chronicle things and put them down for later generation, and that would also be a way that they could always kind of bring some of his teachings or his voice over Force Ghost back into more stuff as we go along.
That would be cool.
Yeah, is to have him speaking to another young Jedi,
Or Jocasta Nu.
Yeah.
One of the holocrons that she created in the Darth Vader comic just stumbles upon Rey.
Yeah.
And she's like, who's this? The librarian from Coruscant? Yes.
Yeah. Little did we know she'd play a huge role.
Huge.
Huge in the passing of information.
She is a baller in the comic. Did not see that coming. I actually have not went back and watched the prequels since I read that comic. So I kind of want to, I don't know. I'm just going to study her. Just be like, what are you hiding?
That's awesome.
But, then Clay Haverty in the group says a large ground battle, which that's, I kind of want that too. I think a lot of people want lightsaber on lightsaber. Bring everyone in. Sometimes the battles themselves are so secluded. What if it's just this huge epic, like Finn's there with a blaster and Rey's there fighting Kylo and the Knights of Ren are there? It
just to me is, I don't know, dude. I'm just like, how do they get... The scroll is going to be so important.
So important.
They're going to have to really communicate a lot of information in the scroll and tell us what has happened. Because all they have to do is say the Resistance has, what's his name? Snaps, has gone out, and those guys have gotten the crew back together. People have answered the call. The legend of Luke Skywalker has spread.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If that's the opening line, and then people get on board, they seek out Rey. She becomes this other beacon, his last student. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool. What I mean? And actually, when you think about it, it is actually really cool.
Absolutely awesome.
She is his last, pupil, student.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. So that would be kind of neat. But, for that large ground battle to happen, I'm sort of like, and I want to see it too, play. I do. But it's sort of like, what do we have to, how do we set that up? You know, how do we get to that point where it seems like, oh, we can do that? Because right now, you know, it's the Falcon and the resistance they're on, you know, so versus an entire First Order.
Yeah, and that's if they're on horseback, and you know, and the First Order still has 20 Star Destroyers or whatever. Like, how
and maybe they could bring back in, you know, remnants of the New Republic in some way, which would be kind of a you know, different between because the New Republic fleet often would back the Resistance, you know, fleet if they needed to, or you know, they kind of clashed a little bit. So you know, we had the Imperial remnant. Maybe you have a remnant, you know, from the New Republic in some way,
and or some of the allies outside of the New Republic that Leia was calling. They maybe they show up and they answered the call, and
old alliances are formed. You know, Naboo comes back. You know, in some strong way. I don't know.
I mean,
there's Lane's Jar Jar connection.
Oh,
you know?
wow. Yeah, he did want Jar Jar.
Get that Gungan
we didn't
army.
mention that.
They have a strong Gungan army.
They do.
There, so, or do they still?
That's they might all be gone.
They might be.
But we know Jar Jar's still around if we are going to go ahead and reference Aftermath.
Yeah.
Hold on. I went black here.
Clay also said the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
We need to see the Knights of Ren. Absolutely. 100% think
that would be cool.
I think that might be sort of that's one of those things, like if you don't have it, or if you don't even have, like, give me a line or a reference to what they're doing.
Yeah.
A quick sort of, like, even if it's just really, you know, he's talking, or, you know, and he just says something to the effects of, they ask him where he's been. He's like, he's been out with the Knights of Ren doing whatever. Yeah. You know, or we just got back from, or send the Knights of Ren to this place to put down this uprising. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like, okay, cool. He's still commanding them. We don't need to see them all. That's okay. If we can't, you know, but you could just show that unit, and it's kind of like your Imperial Guard. You don't really need to.
That's what I was going to
elaborate on them. They just are with him.
So think of a couple circumstances. You know? If they actually do reference them or they show them, would it be cool? Could they be involved in some big epic battle? Whether they're Force sensitive or not, they could, you know, add to Kylo Ren's evilness, whatever. His big villain moment.
Sure.
But then I was thinking, if they're involved and Kylo turns, I feel like it's just like the Praetorian Guard scene all over again. I know. And I was just like, we've seen that.
Do you know what I'd like to see? What would be kind of cool is to see Kylo Ren getting upset with one of the Knights of Ren and striking him down.
Choking him out.
Striking him down.
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be messed up.
Be crazy.
That would be.
But it would be kind of like Palpatine letting Dooku kind of, you know, something like that. I don't know. Be kind of crazy.
Yeah, it feels, I'm sure JJ will at least reference them. But if they're, I don't know, if Kylo's going to stay dark, it would be nice for him to have a posse. So
sure.
Which makes it, then it's interesting. All right, are they going to be Force sensitive? If they are, who's Rey have, you know, back in her?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's Finn going to whip out, you know, some lightsaber resistant thing and go to, who knows?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
For sure. Now, Clay has one more point here. Just some more tie-in from prequel or Clone Wars somehow. So Kenobi or Ahsoka references, maybe.
That'd be cool.
That would be really neat. I mean, it's possible. We know it's possible to have an Ahsoka tie-in.
Yeah.
Even a reference to General Kenobi would be cool. You don't have to see him, but like.
Does Luke have a reference, Ben Kenobi?
Mean in Last
Obi-Wan?
Jedi?
In either.
Yeah.
No, which is odd.
Well, he's not referenced in. I mean, we hear Obi-Wan's voice saying, "Rey, these are your first steps."
True.
So we get that, but then in The Last Jedi, Yoda, I believe.
I appreciate.
No, he does talk about. He doesn't mention his name, but he said it was the Jedi. It was a Jedi who trained or who let Darth Vader fall to the.
Which I think he meant maybe
side.
have meant.
The Jedi.
The Jedi.
I feel like he referenced specifically a Jedi, and it was meant to say to be Obi-Wan, but he didn't say.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan.
I just kind of it's crazy to me that they don't.
Yeah,
he doesn't talk about him. He was such a huge influence for him in this hero arc.
It could be that she's a Kenobi, and so we're, you know,
that would be crazy.
And so there's a reason we haven't really. We're kind of like lulling it to, you know.
It could that would be crazy, but maybe
nuts.
that's the answer.
It would be crazy. You know,
never thought we would return to the old Rey as a Kenobi, but
it would be cool.
Were they right from the beginning?
It would be cool, wouldn't it? It'd be interesting. So
yeah, that's a good. I mean, we've definitely heard some other stuff from people, but that's I mean, I want to get ours in as well.
I'd love, yeah, and exactly. I want to get. We have a few more, and we'll come back to this at some point. So we've got people who have more who've posted in there a couple different things. But if you would, go and hop in there in the group and continue the conversation as we build up to the trailer. But what are your 3 must-haves? Do you want to go one back and forth, or hey, you want to do it?
Yeah, I'll agree with Fogle and you guys on that. There needs to be more time.
Okay.
And it just to make the stakes higher.
Sure.
Without
Absolutely. How
having
much time
to
do you
waste
think?
time.
How much time do you think?
I mean, people are talking a year or 2.
2 years wouldn't be bad.
It needs to be more than a year, in my opinion.
Yeah, more than a year.
Yeah. Like the rebels had built a base on Hoth. You know how much time that would take to chip away at that ice?
Right.
So it just, I don't know. I would make the stakes higher, and it allows for development without wasting time of the movie.
Sure.
We can put it in the scroll, and that's good. That's good. So we have to. How about
I like
you?
that. Well, all right. My number 1. Well, it's these aren't in any particular order.
Yeah.
I'm going to build up to 1 actually.
Come on.
A bigger role for C-3PO, R2-D2, and BB-8.
Come on.
And by bigger, I just mean slightly bigger, like not like
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be neat. I don't know how they're going to do this with R2 going forward.
Mm-hmm.
R2's been really important to Anakin. He's been really important to Luke.
You're so right.
He continues to be important to Luke, and now BB-8 is filling kind of his shoes, right? So what are we going to do with those characters? How do they continue to be valuable to Rey and her story?
Well, as if you go back and watch an old video that you and I did, before or after The Force Awakens, the C-3PO had a little kernel in my throat. Sorry.
Yeah.
C-3PO could be Snoke.
He could be.
So that could be what they're setting us up for.
We did say that at one point C-3PO is Snoke.
He's everywhere.
You heard it here. One thing I thought, we also talked about who left Rey on Jakku. Yeah. And we know that Lando Calrissian's going to be, in Episode 9. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really glad that Billy D's there.
Yeah.
But perhaps R2 is a character who has been, who knows?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I love listening to George talking about the idea of R2 being this droid that was there for all of it and that chronicled it, that told the Skywalker saga.
He has.
Because he was there. His memory is never wiped.
No.
He knows everything that happens, and he, always avoids the memory wipe. And he's your chronicler. He's the one who, he's so key. He's so important.
He is.
He really is. And so I just kind of thought he's got to be involved. He could also be the one. He's a source we trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're looking for someone to give us more information, and we could say, how do we get that? Who some of our, if Carrie Fisher's gone and we can't have her speak these lines, who could speak those lines?
Yeah.
R2-D2.
You're right. But
you know what I mean? There's in some way he's been with her, been with Luke, or, he's with some pretty big legacy characters.
He has, but I'm wondering, who's going to,
I know.
I mean, legitimately needs a translator to share with the audience what he's thinking. Who is going to be that person? It's not going to be Luke. It's not going to be Leia.
It'd have to be Rey.
But she's got BB-8.
I know she does.
Know?
Well, so I think Poe and Finn have really kept.
Poe. You're right.
Yeah, so I think R2 is going to go to Rey. I mean, he kind of already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
he
true.
went with her.
True.
And he saw Luke, and so he'll probably stay there. She interprets for Chewie, and she interprets for R2.
True.
I feel like
that's true.
If she can do it for BB-8, then she can do it for R2.
I kind of wish we would have seen something with them in The Last Jedi. A little more involvement. I mean, he was just hanging out by the Falcon the whole time.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Don't exactly know really how their interaction. She really interacts well with BB-8, and that's great, and everyone does. But R2 is just as funny.
Yeah.
C-3PO is just as funny.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know. You don't have C-3PO around much longer. Do they kill C-3PO?
That would be insane.
Because, I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't believe I said it. Blasphemy.
I mean, could it be his finest performance? Could that be who
saves
Kevin Smith was talking about?
Dude, it would blow my mind. Can you imagine how many people...
That would be terrible.
Can you imagine how many people would be upset, though? I mean, a droid, you're like, oh, you can rebuild a droid. You know what I mean? But... But if they're lost completely and they're out in space and their parts are, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I'm just picturing
know.
him in space, just pieces now flying.
it's terrible. I can't believe I said it.
I know.
I cannot believe I said it.
But
And I
he
apologize.
survived that before. I mean, he was
No, he's-
completely disassembled.
Absolutely.
Disassembled.
Yeah, Chewbacca.
Chewbacca put him back together.
I know,
You know,
but
maybe haphazardly, but he put him back together.
yeah. So I'm interested to see how they use those characters because it's cool. I mean,
That's smart.
they really are. R2's the one who can, man, he could really tell you. He could drop some knowledge
Yeah,
on
no,
a situation.
absolutely.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he did. So,
Yeah, no, that'd be very interesting. It's something people aren't talking about.
no.
You tend to forget those constants that have been there the whole time.
Yeah,
and
no.
have been very crucial.
Chewbacca is also someone who big time
Yeah.
can hang around. I think the reason, in Legends, obviously they kill Chewbacca, which is awful. Vector Prime or whatever it is.
Can't believe you didn't leave with a spoiler on that.
Spoiler, sorry. But it's terrible. But that's someone who in Legends, I mean, now in New Canon,
Yep.
you can keep him around for
Yeah.
a while.
True.
And really, he can be a storyteller and really keep things. I don't know. So that's cool. But
Yeah.
what's your next point though?
As I've been saying it shortly after The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Shortly after The Last Jedi. May have been the first. I don't want to sit here and lay claim to ideas and theories, but I think we were the first.
Okay.
Got to be a two-parter.
Yeah.
Got to
Okay.
be a two-parter because you know what? How unexpected would that be?
It'd be huge.
It's never been done in Star Wars before.
No. And I would just want it to still be episode 9,
Oh
part
yeah.
1.
I don't even want them to tell me part 1.
Yeah.
I want there to be some epic, holy crap moment.
Right.
And I'm like, this is not happening.
Right.
Scene goes black and it says the Skywalker saga
Saga.
will continue in part 2. Or however or whatever the name is, Endgame will
Something.
return in part 2 or something like I
Yeah.
just get people excited again. People will be flipping out
Yeah, it would be epic.
about that. And then in 2 more years we
It
get
would be a
the
shocker.
final.
It would be
you
a
know?
shocker. And it would allow them the
Yeah.
time to do it.
Yeah.
It's a big decision.
Yeah.
It's a big decision.
I think that would be fantastic for the franchise.
I would just, if I were sitting in those offices, and I know, I'm not trying to be, I'm just a fan, just a consumer.
Yeah, sometimes I think you are sitting in the offices and you're holding back, but
sometimes I'm there.
Yeah.
In spirit. And I would remind them that George Lucas was one who risk it, be risky.
Yeah.
Be bold. Don't be afraid. And I loved hearing that from him and from Dave Filoni. I'm just, let's go for it, man.
Yeah.
If it's what we need, then
Yeah.
take us there.
And I just
So-
imagine JJ said, I need more time. I need
He might.
more time. We've got to give them more time.
Yeah.
I just feel like, and he's the king of those,
Yeah.
not maybe cliffhangers, but like just, I don't know. I don't know. I trust that he's going to do fine if it's one film, but like, man, it's never been done before. Give fans just 5 hours of a finale.
Yeah.
And split them up. Film them all now so we have everything, ready to go, but just do it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Change it up.
Absolutely. Well, here's a shocker. I'm going to save my I'm going to save that for my last point, my friend.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the one thing that I was thinking about what a lot of the conversation is been revolving around in 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Just what's happened with our characters, where they're at, and then when I try to look back and I mirror it or parallel it with the prequels and the originals, there were great love stories taking place.
Yeah.
And if you talk about a Skywalker saga,
yeah.
you have to have, that component, my friend.
You're bringing in Raylo, aren't you?
No, I'm not even saying Raylo per se. Just I need to see a romance.
Okay.
I need to see something come to a point where it's like where we can finally say, yep, those characters like each other. You know, the Han and Leia moment that we had, the Anakin Padme that we had in episode 2 and then into 3.
Yeah.
We've teased this way we really teased Finn and Rey, correct?
Yeah.
In The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And then we pretty much teased a Rey and Kylo. And
Yeah.
so I would go ahead and say, give your Reylo people
The
That do-
nod, yeah, they called it.
There's some tension there. There's some sexual tension.
there's something there,
Okay,
yeah.
so I don't know what you want to call it, but
Yeah.
there's some hand touching going on. Okay?
Well, and I mean, if we're to believe, what we talked about several months ago, that hand
Right.
touching,
well,
it's
what
more
does
than just hand touching.
Yeah, I mean, who was it? Let me see here real quick. It was in episode 5 when Han and Leia have the little scene,
Yeah.
right in the Falcon. Yeah, so that was basically the equivalent of what they say is like a
Intercourse.
intercourse. Yeah, Kirshner, the director, kind of
Yeah.
said like that's as close as you're going to come to
Yeah.
it, and that essentially is that kiss is there. It is
Sealed it.
sealed it. That's what's happening. So, and it's cool because it's still for kids, and it's sort of like
Ben Solo was conceived on film.
on film right
Yeah.
there. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
But that's all you're ever going to get, which is
Yeah.
completely appropriate. And I love that. It's such a good. I mean, we show this to kids, and it's a fantastic
Yeah.
story. But I feel like there was that's what they were saying with that hand touching scene and the Force connection. Like there's definitely something there.
Yeah.
But then you also really got all of that hinting from Finn. So how do we resolve that? So I need some resolution in the romance side of things. If there is none whatsoever, that's I guess fine. But then that is the conclusion. I feel like then the Skywalker saga is over.
The romance aspect that you brought up is understated, and one of the group members also, when we asked, we were talking about our favorite Star Wars movie, not the best Star Wars
favorite.
movie, but
Sure.
the favorite, and she mentioned Episode 5 for the Han and Leia romance.
Right.
So you're right, man. That's a constant in Star Wars, and it's something that people don't talk enough about.
Well,
that
people
makes
forget
good story.
too that like Leia kisses Luke. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Luke in the beginning is sort of like when Han says, "Well, I don't know. What do you think?" What's he say? Like a
Princess with a guy like me.
a guy like me?
No.
No. Yeah.
No.
And it's sort of like so that had been back and forth between those two. You're kind of like you're pulling for Luke or you're pulling for Han.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like gets resolved, and you're like, "Whoa, that's
Yeah.
didn't see that coming. That's
Yeah.
cool." When you were kind of leaning Han because I don't know. So, anyways, I want to see some type of resolution there for my number 2.
Agreed.
A must have.
I'm down.
What about you, buddy? What's your third?
My third, as is Rey. Been preaching it for months. I
Boy.
need her to be the hero of this trilogy.
Okay.
The hero we deserve.
Okay.
And I gotta say it now. I'm so sick of people saying she didn't have any failure and she's not this Luke comparison. It's craziness. I don't think there was enough development for her in The Last Jedi. I completely agree with that, and that's why I need more of her. But it's her story.
Yeah.
It's her story, and I think that's the way JJ set it up. And I think Rian Johnson continued that. He just took it in a different direction, but it's her story, and I don't think we got enough from her. And she needs to have amazing moments in this film.
Right.
Amazing moments in this film.
Yep.
I don't want it to be interrupted by Rose. She's cool, but nah. Unless we got a 2-parter and she's got time to do cool, but she's got to be this hero that we deserve.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying too, because in the Last Jedi, it's like starts off with her.
Yeah.
It starts off with her seeking Luke, and that they're 50-50. There's a lot going on there between those two, and then it's actually like once she leaves, continues through Snoke.
Yeah.
Once she leaves Snoke, once she leaves his vessel and heads, down to I forgot the name of the planet, Crate. Yeah. And she heads down there. Then it's sort of like, well, she kind of disappears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's Luke Skywalker's moment to come through and do some
cool.
resolution. But I get what you're saying is that that was a big climactic type of. She had it was kind of like 2 climaxes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it was so
different.
So
It was
much
different.
of that was Ben's moment.
I know.
And that's great.
Yeah. Well, again,
It's his story too.
it's his story exactly.
but
Exactly.
I just don't see her as being some supportive light side user, and this is Ben Solo's light side story at the end. I just don't see that.
No.
But I don't know, man. I think I really enjoy her character.
We do need to see. We need to follow her. It
Yeah.
needs to be her kind of a Return of the Jedi type of situation. Like in that, we
Yes.
need to see
Yeah.
revelations. We need to see her get some resolution and things. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I'm with you on that.
Gosh.
All right, man. Well, can I give you my third?
Yeah. Yes.
Should we just cut it off?
No, please.
Dot.
I have been waiting.
Well, okay. So this one, this is just me, and I'm going to say this is a must-have. So when I say it's a must-have, it's sort of like I really want to see something with the droids. I think we'll get something. You know, it is what it is. When I talk about the romance, I feel like they're going to do that. They're going to give me some resolution there, and even if they don't, I guess it's still kind of a must-have for me. I won't be completely disappointed, but whatever. I will be disappointed.
I know this one.
I will be disappointed if there is no potential for the Skywalker name or line to continue.
I thought you were going to say Ewoks, but
I almost
you
did.
surprised me.
I almost did. If the Ewoks don't come back, I am walking out of that theater.
No, you're right.
To me, I don't know, man. Like, because when I'm reading Legends and I hear about, all the Solo children and the Ben Skywalker and his. His lineage and all that stuff. I love it, man.
It's so good. I
so love it, and I love when Luke comes back to some of his ancestors through the Force and talks to them, and it's really neat. Yeah. It's really, really, really neat, and it drives home this idea like the Force is strong in my family.
Yeah.
So why would it discontinue?
It complements what we talked about last week, that this is a story of choices.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when there's familial, issues involved, those choices are just that much more important.
Sure.
So you're absolutely right, man. It's what I want. I don't know if it's what we'll get, but it's what I want.
Here's the other bit. I'm okay if it's the Solo line. It's still Luke Skywalker's. Yeah. It's his bloodline. It's Anakin Skywalker's bloodline continuing.
Yeah.
He
and
is the one
it's his story.
It's his story. He's conceived by the Force, and so again, it's his descendants. So if Luke's line stops and we continue with Leia and Ben Solo and whoever else, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that too. I would love for there to be a secret child.
That'd be crazy. That'd be the biggest shocker.
Well, someone who had been hidden, from Luke, because again, Vader has no idea that he even has kids. Okay, Anakin Skywalker has no idea.
You're right.
He learns of Luke, and then he finds out about Luke, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I have a son." And then, and 6, just through the feelings that he senses with Luke, he has a twin sister. Yeah. Obi-Wan was wise. To hide her from me. I mean, so who hid, Luke's child if it's not Rey?
That'd be crazy.
And if they did hide Rey and that was his child, would he know?
Yeah.
What is it he's confused? What is it that he's confused by? So I don't know. There's just, for me, I just need some potential for the Skywalker name to continue.
Does that take too much away from Rey then in this concept of, the Force is going to manifest itself in someone, and it may not necessarily be a Skywalker to save the day? Because I want that too, man. I love the tie-ins.
But I'm okay if Rey is just no one.
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that. And I'm actually, so if that happens, if she is just no one, and the Force just calls to her and it awakens, and maybe we learn that she really doesn't come from a significant name that we know. We create a new cool name like Skywalker that we love, and it's something with Rey, and maybe she just has her own line or whatever. But what I'm hoping is that like the Solo, like through Ben Solo, something will continue.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be. I feel like you got to have the Solo name or that Skywalker name kind of still be just a potential. We don't even need to know. It doesn't need to take away from Rey necessarily, but she could also, if Reylo is a thing, she could hook up with Kylo at the end of this.
True.
And then she still is very significant. She can still be no one, but she's someone to Ben Solo.
If they find that balance that we've been talking about, and they do, they figure this out, they figure out each other, and then they have, their Skywalker offspring, then you jump 10 years.
Yeah.
Or, however long, and they've aged, and maybe they have kids, and then you get into some of that Legends,
you don't even have
drama.
Exactly. You don't even need to see, maybe just at the end of it, there's a resolution between the two, and there's another hand-holding situation.
Yeah.
And you see that they're together embracing or whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
Or like he saves her or she saves him this time. You know what I mean? She saves him, and it brings him back from the dark side. Well, there we go. Yeah. And now we're together. And just like when we left Han and Leia, we left them embracing there on the Forest Moon of Endor. Yeah. And we knew that they were going to have kids. We knew that their line was going to continue. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Luke after that meets Mara Jade and whoever else. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. I just want potential for that, for those. I want them to be able to reference back to, Grandpa, Han Solo, and Grandma, Leia.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Great Uncle Luke. You know what I mean?
That'd be awesome.
So yeah,
that'd be awesome, man. I'm down. You could fill in that time period with a lot of stories,
right?
And then maybe another trilogy.
Yeah,
years down the road.
So for me, that's a big must-have, and I don't know. I don't know that it's going to happen, my friend.
I don't either.
So
that's why, man, we got another year.
Okay.
We got another year, and these trailers are going to be brutal because
they really
they're
are.
going to be there's going to be so much deceit.
Yeah.
And misleading. It's just going to be
we're not going to have a clue.
Bonkers.
We're not going to have a clue. No. They did a really good job, I thought, in The Last Jedi of doing that to us, which was great.
All Star Wars trailers are the best things ever created.
They have to be.
So this, I don't think it'll disappoint.
Yeah. So
stay tuned for that discussion when it happens.
Stay tuned, friends. So, well, hey, we want to thank our callers and everyone on our Facebook group who's participating. Again, if you haven't gone to the Facebook group, just type in Rebel Watch, a Star Wars podcast group.
Yeah,
it will pop right up, and request access. Mike and I will approve you, get you in there. If you want to add other members, that'd be great.
Yeah,
you have friends who want to discuss, or people who have big long essays about all this stuff. We'd love to read it and we'd love to discuss it. So
this is where we're theorizing, folks.
Yeah.
This is where it's going to get real deep.
That's right.
And real sweaty.
Real sweaty. So, all right, friends. Hey, thanks again for listening. Follow us on Twitter at RW2187. Again, hit us up on Facebook at Rebel Watch Podcasting. We've got an Instagram as well. You can find us there at Rebel Watch Podcasting as well. And you can follow me at Womprat_2M. And Mike is Red5_Son of Sith as well. So follow us on all those social medias. All right, my friend. It's been good.
It's been a good one.
It's been a good one. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And as always, may the Force be with you.